I'm going to turn things over to Dean Perdue.
Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. We're delighted to see so many of you, our scholarship donors, near and far. The advantage of moving to this format is we do get to include people from all over. We know we have generous alums all over, so we're grateful that you could join us. Reiterating Rihanna's suggestion, if there are if you want to dig into your treats, I may have to have a cheese straw or two before the afternoon is over. So help yourself. We're delighted to have you here, and you're going to have the opportunity to hear from a couple of wonderful speakers that'll be coming up shortly. But before we do that, I just wanted to again reiterate our appreciation for your generosity. You know, this past year we recruited a terrific 1L class. They're now the rising 2Ls, but they're just an outstanding group, impressive credentials, 29% students of color, over half are women from around the country, not only Virginia. And recruiting this outstanding group is really made possible by all of you. It is because of our scholarship endowments and Dean's Opportunity Scholarship funds and other generosity that we are able to make it financially realistic for the best and the brightest to come join us. We know that cost is a major factor for students in deciding where to go to law school, and frankly, whether to go to law school. The prospect of $100,000 or $200,000 debt is certainly intimidating, and we know that there are many outstanding young people who will make a tremendous contribution to the legal profession and to the delivery of justice throughout the country, but for whom the cost is a deterrent. So you all help us make that education accessible and affordable, and we are just enormously grateful for that generosity. It's breaking down barriers and helping us do our part in delivering the outstanding lawyers that we all need. So thank you. So I'm going to turn things back over to Rihanna, who's going to introduce our student speaker.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Well, I am really, really delighted. And to have you all here today, as I mentioned, I do just want to reiterate my thanks as well. I think as you'll hear from our student speaker, the importance of scholarships and what you all make possible absolutely cannot be understated. And speaking of these amazing students, we have a wonderful video message for you from Rising 2L Skyly Cox. Skyly graduated summa cum laude and Phi Beta Kappa from West Virginia University in 2023. She was a double major, she was a double major, which she'll tell you about. And during her time in college, she was also an RA. She served on the student government, and she was a member of the Model United Nations, where she received the Outstanding Position Paper Award and Distinguished Delegation Award. This summer, she's working for the Honorable Judge Lawrence Leonard in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia. And because of that, she was not able to be with us today. She is in chambers with her judge. I forget exactly what's going on, but she could not get away. So she was disappointed not to be here, but she did pre-record her remarks for you. And I'm very, very pleased to share those with you.
From a tiny town in rural. Hello everybody, my name's Skyly Cox. I'm a rising 2L at the law school, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to thank everybody and to thank the people at the school who make this stewardship event possible. When I was offered this opportunity to speak, I was super excited because I feel like most of the time when we do something kind, we don't see how that affects people down the line. And so, with that in mind, I'm really excited to give testament as to the long-term impact of your guys' generosity. So, a bit about me. I'm from a tiny town in rural Appalachia in West Virginia, and frankly, there's a shortage of opportunity for young people in my town. My hometown has a population of less than 700 people, and when I graduated high school, I became a first-generation high school graduate and one of the few people in my community to graduate high school. A lot of people in my hometown struggled with substance use disorder, and watching them as I grew up and seeing how they were ostracized by surrounding cities because of their lack of education or history of substance use disorder, or even just because they were from a rural Appalachian town, it made me realize that I wanted to do some sort of advocacy when I grew up. So quickly I recognized that to be a good advocate, I needed to be informed. So I took AP classes, joined community service organizations, studied for the ACTs, all in hopes that I could gain admission to a prestigious college. I was thrilled my senior year of high school to be admitted to a private liberal arts school, but for the first time in my life, I realized that my family's financial situation would limit my opportunity. I spoke with a school counselor and the financial aid office at the college, but I realized that attending such an expensive school wouldn't do anything to help me achieve my goals if I was simultaneously putting myself into debt that I could never escape. So instead, with a merit scholarship and federal grants, I attended West Virginia University, where I double majored in international studies, political science, and I double minored in philosophy and religious studies. And I made my mind, as everybody who studies political science does, that advocacy meant politics. So I threw myself into student organizations to test that intuition, like Model UN and student government, and I very quickly realized I was not destined to be a politician. So the only other possible alternative, of course, is law. I called every lawyer in my small hometown to see if I could shadow anyone, and eventually, during COVID, one attorney agreed to let me come to his office. And I spent the week with him, and I realized that I definitely did want to practice law. And I was super enthusiastic about this realization that I was going to try and gain a legal education. It was exactly the kind of advocacy that I had wanted to do my whole life. But I realized that if undergrad was a stretch financially, law school would be impossible. But nonetheless, I had a great GPA, I had a good LSAT, and a great resume, so I threw a Hail Mary and I applied to law schools in hopes that maybe somebody would offer me a scholarship. I was accepted into a handful of schools, but when I toured University of Richmond, I knew that's where I wanted to go. And as anybody who's been to University of Richmond can attest, when I saw the campus and met the students, it blows every other school out of the water. I left the school feeling super excited to be in a position where I potentially could attend such an amazing school, but I was also disappointed because I knew that this opportunity hinged on my ability to find some source of funding for my education. But when I received my full tuition scholarship, I was thrilled. As a kid from a small rural Appalachian town, a first-generation high school student, I never dreamed that I would be afforded the opportunity to walk down the stairs to the U of R Law School every day and to be surrounded by students who have overcome similar challenges, professors dedicated to academia, and staff who are just enthusiastic about the community. So now I get to worry about whether I want to work in a big law firm or a mid-sized one, and when I want to end my judicial internship, and when I'm going to get my case note for law review done. And it just feels like such a privilege to face those questions. And without the scholarship, these wouldn't be my worries. My worries would be dramatically different. So I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting the law scholarships and for making this opportunity possible to me. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I want to send a virtual thank you to Skyly. She's not here, but we're so happy she was able to share those thoughts with us. She was really looking forward to being here in person and being able to chat with you, but hopefully you'll all get a chance to meet her at some other time. Now I'm going to pass things over to Allie Carter, our Associate Dean for Development and Alumni Relations, and she'll talk a little more about your impact.
Hi, everybody. Give me just one moment to share my screen. And I'm going to make a note for Rihanna that I don't think I should speak after the student in the future. It's a tough act to follow, and I'm a little bit choked up hearing her story. So bear with me. Is everyone able to see my screen right now? Everything look good? Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
I can't see it,
Oh,
Allie. Sorry. I don't
try
know.
again. I thought I saw a
Okay.
nod. Give me one more chance. Here we go. Someday we'll all figure out Zoom. Now, are we seeing it? Okay, great. So thank you again. I will reiterate that thanks. It's a common theme today. It's really an honor and a privilege to work together with each of you. And it's really special for me to know almost all of you personally and to have talked to you about the impact you like to make through your scholarship support. We just heard one story of a student whose life your support has touched, and now I'm just going to share a few brief slides that give a bigger picture and context of the impact you're making. So a little bit of context, this year, our students borrowed $11.8 million to finance their legal educations. That number is collected through FAFSA data. That's the Federal Financial Aid Application Process. What that $11.8 million translates into at the individual level is an average debt of $106,000 for our students. And then to even further drill it down, that comes to loan payments of about $14,000 annually over the course of 10 years following graduation. As the dean mentioned, this deters some from choosing Richmond, from pursuing a career in public service, or even from attending law school at all. And one factor I will mention here, a few years ago, we looked at what the delta was, the difference between our average debt and that of 5 of our top competitors. And it was about 17,000 on average between those 5 competitors. We were about 17,000 higher. So that's really where that choosing UR comes in. And I highlight that number for another reason as well. 17,000 is 5,000 or 6,000 a year in scholarship award that can make the difference between a student choosing us or a competitor. And that's not a number that's insurmountable. Many of you give more than 5,000 on an annual basis or have established endowments far larger that spin off that. So you are really helping move the needle, and your difference, though it may not seem significant to you, really, really is huge. So when we're thinking about that, we've got that big challenge, 11.8 million borrowed each year. 360 of you just this year alone have donated to scholarships to help us to lower that number in time. This year, you have committed over 1.1 million in gifts and commitments to support scholarships for our students. Among that support is 2 new scholarship endowments. The first being the Gerald Thomas Massey Scholarship. Massey was a 76 alum and also an undergraduate alum, I believe, class of 73, who was a veteran and passed away from complications of Agent Orange after the Vietnam War. And one of his undergraduate classmates created this scholarship for veterans attending law school in his memory this fall. So we've been really grateful to have that, and others have given to it in memory of Massey. The second new scholarship endowment established this fiscal year is the Stepanian Family Law Scholarship. It was created by Andy Stepanian, a 2000 law alum, and his wife, Liz. And what's interesting about that one was Andy wanted to help create an example for others of younger alums, the next generation of philanthropic leaders. He lives in Texas. He doesn't practice law. He hasn't been hugely engaged due to distance, but he still really sees the value and wants to give back and serve as an example to others. We were able to award 10 new Dean's Opportunities Scholars. Those are students, including Skyly, was one of those 10, who come to us with great need and great potential and receive a special scholarship award for showing resilience in the face of adversity, among other great traits. And I also want to point out among the 366 generous donors, 148 of those gifts were gifts of 100 or less, totaling almost $9,000, which if we go back to that delta I mentioned a few slides ago, even donors that are giving gifts of 100 or less are collectively helping. That could be the difference for 1 or 2 students in our 1L class. I want to shine a spotlight on another special scholarship effort this year. Last year, Mary Lou Kramer, who's on this call, established the Law Women's Centennial Scholarship with a $50,000 challenge gift. She, like Andy Stepanian, I just mentioned, wanted to inspire others. And so we had a challenge this past fall. It was called 100 Women, 100 Years. And as we celebrated a century of women at Richmond Law, we aimed to get the fund to $100,000 and 100 donors. And 107 donors came together, raising over $120,000. And we hit the minimum in cash in the door. Some of those are multi-year commitments to enable us to award that scholarship this fall. So more to come on that between now and the end of the year. We are so excited that we will have our first Women's Centennial Scholar this coming year. For those who were not able to attend our Century of Women celebration in October at that event, we also were fortunate to have a scholarship speaker. And I just wanted to highlight a little bit about that. So Rebecca Carrico, a Rising 3L, spoke, and she came to us from Florida. She is one of 4 daughters. Her mother was a middle school math teacher, and her father was a pastor, and he passed away this fall, actually not too long before our event. Being the daughter of public servants, her family was not in a position to support 4 daughters going through undergraduate, much less graduate school following. And so she has been fortunate to, along with assistance from some local scholarships and from the university, pay her own way through undergrad and now through law school. And it took me a while to get this down to a somewhat short quote because her words were so wonderful, but I pulled one quote from her remarks that I'll read to you. "The generous support of donors like yourselves makes my dream of working in the public interest field possible and allows both me and my mom the relief of knowing I will be able to support myself going forward. It speaks so highly of this university, its alumni, and the Richmond community that I have felt equipped and supported during this difficult time. I hope to continue this tradition moving forward by being a resource to other students and contributing to funds like the Law Women's Centennial Scholarship so that future women like me have the opportunity to attend this incredible university." So you've heard from 2 of our scholarship recipients, Skyly, and now a little bit from Rebecca through me. And I wanted to then kind of take it full circle and think about how many students your support is touching this year. So that 1.1 million, those of you have banded together to award scholarships to 355 law students this past academic year. 96 of those received full tuition awards, and 84% of our 1L class received awards. I actually pulled the numbers earlier. About 10 years ago, we were only awarding scholarships to a little more than half of our students. So we have moved the needle in this space. To give you a little more context, tuition is about $55,000. The minimum scholarship award we provide is $5,000, but the average is more than half at $31,000. And that is, again, thanks to your support. So with that in mind, here's that quote Skyly ended with. And I just want to say thank you again on behalf of Skyly, Rebecca, and all our students for your support. And I will pass it back over to Rihanna for the last portion of our program today.
All right. Thank you, Allie. I hope those numbers, I know it's wonderful to hear from students, but it's also sometimes nice to see the data and the numbers and the true scope of the impact that you all are having. So I hope that put things even further into context for you. Well, finally, it is my pleasure to introduce our final speaker. And just as a reminder, Dean Perdue will come in at the end after this speaker's remarks to close us out. And then after, we'll stick around if you wanted to ask any questions of us, of the dean, or if you wanted to chat with each other. So I'm delighted. He is on the Zoom. It will be a recording, but he is present with us. I'm delighted to introduce our final speaker, who is an alum and a donor, Eric Herlocker. He is a double spider. He graduated Phi Beta Kappa from the University of Richmond in 1987 and magna cum laude from the law school in 1992. He's a founder of the Green Herlocker Law Firm, which is here in Richmond, for those who know it, and has spent the past 28 years focusing on advising clients involved in energy, and for the past 10 plus years, renewable energy transactions. In 2020, Eric and his partners at Green Herlocker endowed the Green Herlocker Law Scholarship with a gift of $100,000. And additionally, this year, Eric and his wife, Andy, you may remember they generously committed $25,000 more as a matching gift as part of a match challenge for our Giving Day back in April. So they committed that to further support the Green Herlocker Law Scholarship. Eric, we are so grateful for your strong commitment to scholarship support, and we're excited to have you here in person here on the Zoom, but virtually, to talk about the impact of scholarships and what inspires you as a scholarship donor. So I will just take 1 sec to share the screen, and then Eric will get his remarks going.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Eric Herlocker, and I've been asked to, it's kind of my honor to give a little bit of background and talk a few minutes about the Green Herlocker Scholarship that our firm put in place a couple of years ago. Just as about 30 seconds of background, I went to U of R undergrad and law school, 87 for college and 92 at law school. And Brian Green and I founded Green Herlocker in 1992. So it'll be 12 years in about 2 weeks since our firm started. And we are an energy-focused law firm. And the reason I bring that up is that it has a kind of a genesis of the scholarship that we established back in 2021. And so kind of going into it, we set up the Green Herlocker Scholarship, and we kind of had this idea in 2020, and it really was a perfect storm of 3 events, both kind of professionally and personally. First, in 2020, I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. So the idea of having something that I could do and I could do with my firm, really kind of made sense to me and was a nice kind of legacy piece that we hope would continue and will continue far beyond either Brian or me or any other folks at the firm being around. The second kind of prong of that was there was a need that we saw to diversify the backgrounds of people coming to law school and kind of focusing them and seeing their interest in the energy law and to a lesser extent the environmental law sectors. We felt that a lot of people that practice in Richmond and in Virginia in this area, their backgrounds are very similar. And so what we really want to focus our thoughts and the scholarship on was folks that may have had a different background, a different path to law school than the traditional, either right out of undergrad or paralegal or work for a year or 2 at a law firm and then go to law school. So that was the kind of the second piece. And the third piece, it was 2020. We were in the middle of the pandemic, and for whatever reason, our firm was having an exceptional year. And so we took this opportunity, Brian and our third partner, Jared Burton, got together and said, look, we're having a great year. It's been a rough year. How can we give back? And everybody kind of agreed that this would be a good opportunity and a good way to kind of give back, achieve our goals of having some legacy impact for the firm, and also really trying to diversify the types of people that are getting engaged in energy law in Virginia. So with that kind of background, we all said, yes, let's go. We started it and made a contribution of 100,000. It's been adding to each year. My wife Andy and I recently did a challenge that we agreed to put 25 grand in to the scholarship over the next 5 years, and have challenged folks to either give to our scholarship, establish your own scholarship, but just keep the law school kind of front of mind. And then, what really makes this go is the people that we get as the scholarship recipients at the end of the day. And so we've had our first recipient kind of go her full 3 years through the program, and she graduated this past spring. And so her name was Heather Barton, and it was really neat. I mean, it was everything that we kind of sought to do. Heather went to the AmeriCorps after college. She was a teacher in Henrico County. She developed school and educational curriculum for VCU. So this was kind of the person that we were exactly thinking of. Yeah, let's give her some push to kind of look at the energy sector. You don't have to do it at the end of the day, but let's give her some incentives to do it. Let's give her some financial help in going to law school. And, for as best as we can tell, I think we were successful. Heather most recently clerked and spent her last summer before her 3rd year at the Southern Environmental Law Center working in Charlottesville. So this was kind of exactly what we had in mind. And we're very happy with the success that we've had in our first recipient. And we're really looking forward to the second recipient, which will be kind of worked on this summer and will be announced in the fall. So that's kind of the background on why we did it, what we did. We've been very, very happy to have participated and to support the law school. Our firm is a big supporter of it, of the school. We like the students. We like to hire from here. We have a summer associate right now that's a rising 3rd year. So we're extremely happy with our relationship with U of R and really appreciate this opportunity just to tell you a little bit about our firm and also about the Green Herlocker Scholarship. Thanks very much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Eric. Pleasure to have you with us, and thank you for those remarks. And with that, I will turn things back over to Dean Perdue.
Eric, thank you so much. It's inspiring to hear your story, your motivation, and your passion for the school. So I'm very grateful for you taking a few minutes to share that. And of course, a virtual thank you to Skyly and Rebecca for sharing their stories with us. So I hope that today has been as inspiring for you all as it has been for me, to just be reminded about the terrific impact that your generosity has had. It truly does change lives, and I'm enormously grateful. So again, thank you. We'll stick around here if there are questions or comments or anything that you all want to share. Many thanks for joining us.
And do feel free just to unmute yourselves if you'd like to ask a question or make a comment. Guy,
Thanks
are
for
you
this.
oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No, I wanted to thank everybody. I told Allie on the phone, I said, I had the easy way. I have parents now up in heaven, but it paid for everything. And not everybody does.
Yeah.
So, but I have to tell you, my college is in there too in my will. So you have to split that 32 cents, so, but I'm happy to be able to do it.
Thank you so much. Well, and we know that the ability of the potential of people to be fabulous lawyers who have an impact on our communities doesn't correspond with family wealth. So being able to make a University of Richmond education, law school education available to those who come from 700-person towns in West Virginia. Is it really makes a huge difference. And I'm one of those people who believe that lawyers make a difference. So I think we need fabulous lawyers who change their communities, sometimes one family at a time. Sometimes they're national leaders, but sometimes they're just community leaders. So we're very grateful for your generosity in helping us make that possible.
Wendy, if I can just echo your comments. I know most of you on the screen. For those who I don't know, I'm Clark Williams. I just a year ago finished rather lengthy teaching career at the law school. And it was such a privilege and a blessing to get to know so many wonderful students, so many of whom would not have been there but for the generosity of the folks like yourselves. So not only are they indebted, but we are indebted to you for your foresight, your generosity, and your commitment to their future and the future of our profession. It's a great thing, and I am grateful to be among you today and to see so many familiar faces who've meant so much to me over the years. So thank you all.
Wendy, this is Guy in Kansas City. I'm going to
Oh,
have
hi,
to
Guy.
sign off, but it's
Yeah.
really, really good to see so many familiar faces. Beth Kaufman and I go back to, good Lord, first year, and just so great to see everybody. All is good here in Kansas City. We're preparing for our next Super Bowl championship, and of course, looking for Taylor Swift on a daily basis. But all is good. So I'm going to jump onto another Zoom. I wish everybody the best. Have a great rest of the summer.
Thank you, Guy. Great to see you.
You too. Take care.
So Guy and I were actually messaging during the call because I did see him several times after law school. He was a few years ahead of me, and his soon-to-be wife then was a year ahead of me, and we became fast friends because I was in law school married, and my husband was also a student, and Sarah and I go way back to the class of for both of us. I think we graduated in 77, but we were technically the class of 78, if I remember right. And I think Kathy Mayford, if she's still on, was
I'm
also.
here.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Nice to see
Hi.
you.
Good to see you. Yes, I graduated. Well, I was the class of 79, but I graduated in 78.
Right. I remember you were in Debbie Russell's class.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to see everybody and be able to connect in this way. And that was a really very moving program that you put together. And it's wonderful to see the type of students Richmond's getting now. I mean, not to say anything terrible about the students they've gotten in the past, but I think that Wendy's initiative and the kind of really spotting the great talent is terrific. And she's been an absolutely superb dean. So I'm sure we're all very, very happy to be supporting her.
Thank you.
Well, Mike Bellato here. I want to say thanks, Wendy and Rihanna, Allie, and the participants. I got to head back down to Deltaville. I think Kathy, you down there as well today, or you still there?
I'll be there tomorrow.
I'll be there tomorrow. And I know Janice has jumped off here. Janice is usually down there. I see her a fair bit of time. Janice Moore as well. But I got clean some oysters later on. We're celebrating this weekend the 100th anniversary of the F.D. Crockett at the Deltaville Maritime Museum. So that's a big celebration. So
that's cool.
Next week is boat building week down there. So I've got 10 families to deal with who are building their own boats from scratch next week. So that'll be good. But I'll catch up with all of y'all soon. And thanks so much.
Great to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Bye-bye.
I just have to say this, as a recent alumni, and since Heather Barden is one of my really good friends, I'm already sussing out like, who am I going to be shouting out on a scholarship Zoom in 30 years that we went in on a scholarship together? It's kind of exciting.
We're glad
Well,
to
it is
hear you're
fun.
thinking ahead, Rita.
You know, it is fun that people are, know each other, connect with each other. That was one of the things that we think went particularly well about our new format of the alumni weekend. So we had people from all the classes, and it turns out folks know people across those class lines, and so we'll look for more ways to connect you all with each other, and many spiders out there. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Pia.
We won't keep you from your days unless there's any further questions or comment. But again, we are so grateful, and it's wonderful to see you all, even if it is via Zoom from near and far. So hope you have a wonderful summer. And I think actually, Sarah, we have fall gathering set, the date set. Is that correct? So you might want to mark your calendars, and maybe we'll see you in the fall.
We do. We recently reserved spaces last week and confirmed. So this year, Fall Gathering will be Friday, October 4th. And we have also reserved the Red Zone at Robins Stadium. And that will be Saturday, October 5th. I believe the game starts at 2 p.m. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone there. And also, if I have not met you via phone call, email, or Zoom, I'm Sarah Doval. I started in April as the new Director of Annual Giving and Alumni Relations. This has been just a wonderful Zoom to attend. It's been apparent to me since I've come on that the support of Richmond Law alumni is just amazing. And so it's so wonderful to see you all and the impact that you're making for students. So just thank you so much. Even though I'm new, it's extremely apparent, the impact that you all provide. So if I haven't spoken to you yet, I look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thank you all. I hope everybody has a wonderful summer.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming. Good to see you.